As an autistic person, do you have problems with anxiety? So, today I'm going to be talking about an article published in a scientific journal all about anxiety as a common issue with autistic adults. So, let's get to it. Anxiety is a common issue in autistic adults, and several models have been proposed that it's explaining its high prevalence in the autistic population. One such model focuses on the role of intolerance of uncertainty, which has biological and evolutionary basis. According to this framework, everyone is born with a certain level of intolerance of uncertainty, but this level decreases when we learn to understand and manage uncertainty in our daily lives. However, individuals with high autistic traits do not may not develop the same level of understanding and management of uncertainty, which could explain the high levels of anxiety with autistic people. So there was a study done, and this study, researchers analyzed data from prior studies involving 199 autistic and 55 autistic adults. Participants completed self report measurements on autistic traits, intolerance of uncertainty, sensory processing, and anxiety. The researchers used path analysis to test two models of the relationship between intolerance of uncertainty and anxiety in autistic adults. The first model suggests that intolerance of uncertainty, which is a common phenomenon for all people, could explain some of the cognitive aspects of anxiety and autism. The second model proposed that primary neurodevelopmental differences associated with autistic traits underlie the sensory sensitivity and sensory seeking behaviors, which increase intolerance of uncertainty and subsequent anxiety. So the results showed that the neurodevelopmental model had better fit the than the evolutionary stress model. This suggests that the neurodevelopmental impact of higher levels of autistic traits could affect the way children learn to manage uncertainty as they develop. This could explain why individuals with high autistic traits may have difficulty managing uncertainty, leading to a higher level of anxiety. So, what is the neurodevelopmental model in autism? So, the neurodevelopmental model of autism is a theory that suggests that autism spectrum disorder arises from early developmental differences in brain structure and function. This model proposes that genetic and environmental factors interact during crucial periods of brain development to cause differences in neural connectivity, synaptic pruning, and brain organization that ultimately result in the characteristic features of autism. According to this model, these neurodevelopmental differences underline the social communication and behavioral difficulties that are associated with autism. It is believed that these differences affect the way individuals with autism process sensory information, engage in social interactions, and communicate with others. These difficulties can range from mild to severe and may present differently in different individuals with autism. The neurodevelopmental model of autism has been supported by various studies that have identified structural and functional differences in the brains of individuals with autism compared to typically developing adults. This model is important, implicating for the early identification and intervention of autism, and it suggests that the interventions targeting neurodevelopment during critical periods may be the most effective in improving outcomes for individuals with autism. So the bottom line is catch it early. I talked about earlier in another episode that there is a simple hearing test that can be done to determine whether a child is having problems with processing audio input, or if they actually have problems with the biological manifestation of the ears. And so, is it the brain? Is it the ears? There's a simple test that can be done, and instead of waiting for a child to become ostracized from the groups at roughly 4 or 5 years of age, to start to do something about autism, you can do it within the first 2 years using this hearing test. And I've talked about that in a previous episode. So the bottom line is that the neurodevelopmental model of autism suggests that autism arises from early developmental differences in the brain structure and function, and has there's the idea that synaptic pruning. What happens is that if you don't use it, you lose it with the synapses and all the neuroconductivity inside the brain. If what happens is that if it's not pruned, the organization of the brain, especially in the early developmental stages, is not going to work as well. So, what they found in what I've reported in earlier episodes is that a lot of the times, children with autism may have too much connectivity in certain areas of the brain and not enough in others, whereas there's a lot of energy being produced in one area, and that energy is not being able to move about in other areas of the brain. So, certain aspects of neurofunctions are hyper aware. The person can be hyper aware in certain aspects of a brain function, and then they could be not aware that much, and their processing speed can slow down because they're getting too much information in one area, and that information isn't able to be transported to other areas of the brain. So that's one of the leading theories in which this reinforces that theory that it isn't that the child is just intolerant of change. There's actually biological concerns about the brain and its development, and you know. So the behavioral aspects and of autism are going to be not the end all be all, and which there's a lot of brain formation, and they're still understanding this. And so, with that, if you know somebody with autism, don't expect that all you have to do is work on the behavioral aspects of their autism, and then everything's going to be all well and good. There's biological there could be biological aspects to this as well. And so one of the things is that, yes, one of the outward factors that involve in triggering of frustration from an autistic person is that change can be difficult, because a lot of people with autism like repetition and like things to be, once they get them right, they want to stick to it, even though the other people in the world may think that it's boring and may look for excitement. Actually, a lot of people with autism don't look for that type of excitement because they've gotten into the flow, and they've gotten it to where it's efficient, and that's what they want to do. And to each their own. So don't try and force your values onto somebody else. especially if what they're doing is working, and then you're just getting bored with somebody else because you don't like their behavior. It's their behavior. So if it's not affecting you, why try and change it? So with that, this has been Finding Your Hidden Superpower: Autism, Asperger's, and those of us who are neurodiverse. Finding your hidden superpower is going to take a long while, or you may already know what it is. You might just not have the confidence to fully implement it. But the bottom line is, I'm hoping to help people understand themselves, understand the science behind autism, and carry this to the public. So have a great day, and you know, keeping on, and keep on being positive, because that's all we can do. So have a great day.